Welcome to the Academic Resource Center's Research Topic Proposal Workshop. This presentation will review the purpose of a research topic proposal and its parts. To start off, what is the purpose of a research topic proposal? A research topic proposal is meant to address three key questions. What do you plan to accomplish? Why do you want to do it? And how are you going to do it? What do you plan to accomplish? You should identify what it is that you are proposing to research and define that research problem. Then articulate these clearly and succinctly. Why do you want to do it? Provide convincing evidence that is a topic worthy of study, and frame your research problem in the form of a question. Then answer that with the so what follow-up question. How will you include a tentative list of primary, secondary, and tertiary materials in the assigned format, and provide a timeline for major tasks? So what are the parts of a research topic proposal? These might include a topic statement, justification, a working thesis, your approach, your audience, and your sources. Your topic statement is your paper. This is your topic, not your research question or your working thesis. This is the overall idea of what your paper is going to be about. For example, the student debt crisis. You should then know why you are writing about this topic and how it is of interest to you. If you are not invested in your topic, chances are your incentive to write about this subject will be weak. Discuss the topic in terms of what it is that you're curious about. Touch on what intrigues you. This leads into the next part of your research proposal, discussing why it is that you have chosen this topic and what you believe your reader could stand to benefit from the research that you will be conducting. For example, student debt crisis is a topic that I would like to research because it not only affects me, but it also affects many other Americans. The student debt crisis affects students for years after they graduate. Some even drop out for fear of an increase in debt. I personally feel that there should not be a price on education, and so I am very interested in why education is so costly in the U.S. that it has led to a debt crisis. Your working thesis is ideally a tentative answer to your research question. Remember, you are not setting out to conduct research in order to prove a point. At this point in the process, you must be fair, balanced, and open-minded. Leave room in this part of the research proposal for flexibility. In the student debt example, high college tuition rates can cause problems like a decrease in the number of students seeking a degree, an increase in the student dropout rate, and increasing student debt, all of which have the potential to negatively affect the economy. Your approach to the subject of your paper. Try to envision a logical way in which to present your material. In what order will you present your material to best address the issues? Will you have to define any terms? If so, which ones? Will you have to clarify terms and concepts? Do you think that inserting anecdotal evidence, high-profile stories, and the like will help your reader understand your paper? Will you show opposing viewpoints? Will you discuss the pluses and minuses of different proposals? Will you be comparing and contrasting? Will you be categorizing some information? Perhaps you will be using a number of these approaches in your paper. You will need data on tuition rates and increases over time, and be able to compare these to the increasing cost of living and inflation. This could show how the rise in tuition rates outspace these other economic indicators. It could also show an underlying reason for the student debt crisis. People cannot afford college, so they take out loans. I will define what the crisis is, how much debt is being racked up. Then I will look for patterns in dropout rates to see if they might be caused by debt and inability to pay for college. Finally, I need to talk about how decreasing degree attainment and increasing debt can negatively impact the economy. Your readers will not be specialists in this field. Assume that your readers have, in general, your level of knowledge, but not necessarily in the same subject. You will have to define terms and explain concepts. But beyond these obvious ground rules, discuss what people or a group of people might benefit from reading your paper. In my example, my audience will be those thinking about attending college or sending their children to college. This audience would be interested in the topic and might also vote for policymakers who can enact change. Policymakers themselves and those working in higher education probably already know much of this. What kind of sources will I use? Do you have a balanced variety of sources? What strengths will they lend to the paper? How will they help clarify points you want to make? Use a combination of sources. Most of your sources must be from academic journals found using JTCC's library databases. Some high-end general audience publications such as the Journal Sciences, Chronicles of Higher Ed, and the like can be used. Internet sources can be used if they are from credible sites your professor has pre-approved. A tentative list. You should also have some sources listed in the assigned format. Doing this indicates that, more than likely, your topic is viable. For example, I will look for scholarly articles, scientific research, and maybe other students' research. Hassan Minhaj has an episode about this that might give me a good hook. All of these sources are very different and provide different outlooks on the same problem. Tentative list of references. Here there is already a provided list of some references that have already been properly formatted to go into a works cited page. Having these ready will be able to leave you more time to focus on writing your paper than having to put these together later. Your timeline will be a base for getting your paper done in a timely manner. You'll want to begin with conducting your initial research. Then you will use that to begin your first draft and additional research as needed. Next, you'll make revisions by filling in any research gaps and have peer review. And finally, you'll make any final revisions and proofreading to complete your paper by its deadline. Luckily, most English classes will give you the time to do this in class. However, it's still a great idea to plan out your timeline. Common mistakes to avoid. Failure to be concise, being all over the map without a clear sense of purpose. Failure to cite landmark works in your kinds of sources section. Failure to define boundaries of your research, time, place, people, etc. Failure to develop a coherent and persuasive argument for the proposed research. Failure to stay focused on the research problem, going off on unrelated tangents. Sloppy or imprecise writing, or poor grammar. Too much detail on minor issues, but not enough detail on major issues.